Hey everybody, welcome to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also digs up the old questions from old videos that were answered but never published, and they're actually good questions, just didn't have enough time. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and right now, I know it's kind of weird, I'm actually not here. Well, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm just a figment of your imagination. But that said, I will be continuing Mondays. You're going to see it next week. It's just going to be a little different. I don't even know what the background's going to be. I may do some shots from a local shop. I might actually do it from my RV that I'll be traveling around in. So it could be a little different. I'm going to mix it up, and each week will be something a little different, a little more creative. I bet you guys are probably getting tired of seeing this background here anyway. Also this week, a lot of great questions from the archives, ones that I couldn't get in, like I mentioned. And remember, just because this is the best of show or a lost episode show doesn't mean you can't put the questions down below for another show, the future shows. I'll be looking at this show and last week's show to do the next one. So remember, put them in the comments, vote up your favorites, and those will get on the next show. Also want to give you guys an update on my next phase. So yeah, remember, check with your local shops and fields to see if I'll be visiting your location. And of course, you want to see where I'm going to be all the time. Make sure to follow Instagram and Airsoftology's Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Airsoftology, or just Airsoftology over on Instagram for all of the updates so you can see where I'm going to be. And to round it out, before we get into your questions, a little shameless self-promotion. Don't forget, got these brand new patches in, these chameleon green patches. This is the fall special edition color. So these are limited edition. They're going to be for fall only. Once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not making any more in this color. We're going to move on to something else. So don't miss out if you're going to do it. I've got them with me on the road. They are $7 free shipping anywhere in the world. So just pick them up and I'll be mailing them from wherever I'm at that time when you guys purchase them. Now that I'm done hawking my wares, let's dive on into what you're really here for, and that is your best questions from the last month that didn't get aired. AZK YouTube, right? I always see people on YouTube without orange tips on their guns in airsoft skirmishes and at milsim events. Isn't that technically illegal, or is it okay to take the orange tip off? So it really depends on where you live. That's what it's going to come down here on the orange tip. Most states do not require an orange tip. It's a federal law. So in the United States, we're talking US here. Now you get outside the country, laws are all different everywhere, and I'm not an expert at all in any of those. But in the US, you have a federal law that requires the transport and sale of airsoft guns. So like kind of when they come in the country and they get shipped out to where they're going, to have that blaze orange tip. There are also some cities and states that require the orange tip, as well as even more requirements. For example, with California coming up here in 2016, you're going to see the new tape rule. So I think the law requires the orange tip now, plus having some bands, some adhesive bands across the gun in certain spots to designate it as an airsoft gun. So, and again, that law is written a little fuzzy too. I think there are also some other states that do require bright guns. I know New York City is really about having just only bright guns in there, in the city itself. Not the state itself, but the city itself. And I know that's been a thing that's been in the news here recently with Amazon and Kmart and I think Walmart all settling with the city of New York on actually shipping product in there that wasn't correct based on the law of the city. So yeah, definitely want to check with your city laws and your state laws. And the best resource for you guys is go to your local shop. I mean, honestly, and ask them. They're going to know the law. Those shops do have to sell the guns with their orange tips on them. But once you get it past that, like I know where I live in Tennessee, it is not a requirement, it's not a law once you privately own that. So I mean, if you see right here, I got my Walther PPQ, no orange tip on the end, I've removed it. And pretty much most of my guns, I've taken the orange tips off that are my personal ones that I use on the field and at milsim events. I also do pay close attention to where I'm going to play to make sure I'm not going to be breaking any rules and the places I travel. So if I'm flying, I'm landing in a certain area, I want to make sure I do comply with those local area laws when I'm in there so I don't get myself in deep trouble. British XXX Anarchy 7 writes, can you go full auto in a milsim event or operation? If you're playing the right role and have the right weapon, yes, you can at a milsim op. And the reason they do that is they limit semi-auto, pretty much every single op, limit semi-auto for rifleman classes. So if you're going to be coming in as like a door kicker and you know 99% of who's out there playing is going to be that role, whether you're a sniper, DMR, or a door kicker, like just what they call rifleman in most cases, you will be limited to semi-auto. Now there's different FPS restrictions depending on the role. Usually DMR is a little higher, and then of course you have, and those usually have to be like a real 7.62 or heavy 308 weapon in real life, and then you of course have the sniper role, which it needs to be a bolt action rifle and such, and you do have a higher FPS there. Then there's the support gunner, which is where you can fire full auto. So you'll need to sign up as a support gunner, make sure you get approved. Some require prior attendance to let you run that role, and then you can play that support role. In fact, this last weekend I played at Ironclad and Ironclad 2, and I was running a rifleman role, but I brought my Stoner LMG with me, and one of the guys in the squad had signed up and his went down, so I let him have it just in case. I always bring extra guns just in case we have a dropout like that. And sometimes you can work with the event promoter if somebody's gun goes down like that. You can switch into that role as long as they switch back out to a rifleman, so you're not having too many of a certain role on a team. But yeah, if you want to do full auto, it's for that. Usually support gunners have a higher FPS. They do have a minimum engagement. It's like usually 50 feet versus none, or maybe 5 or 10 in some events. Feet, and their job is very different. Their job is to, of course, support, as the name implies, and to keep heads down for you so your squad can move up and take the objective. And a good support player may not necessarily get a lot of kills. A good support player is going to facilitate their group and their squad and their team or their fire team and platoon to get those kills. You're keeping the heads down, windows closed, heads off roofs, doors covered with suppressive fire while your guys are moving up, and then they're going in, kicking in doors and shooting guys in the face. Well, not in the face, because that's a terrible thing to do. Shooting guys in the chest, in the plate carrier. Boss Toss 12 writes, "Hey John, whenever I run my leg holster, keeps pressing the mag drop button on my sidearm. I've been getting lucky in finding the mag. How do I get this to stop?" Yeah, this can be a pretty common problem with pistols, and depending on the holster, especially if you have those kind of like universal fit holsters like the Tornado ones, Matrix or Condor or whatever makes, it typically wraps up high enough to where it gets here and is able to press on the mag release. Now, certain pistols like this one, this is the PPQ, the Walther PPQ by Elite Force, have, of course, they mimic their real counterparts, and that's what they're going to do. But the real one, just like this one here, has kind of a guard. The way it's built around, I don't think you guys can see that on camera. It's kind of a lip. So I can't press it. I have to be above that to press it to drop the mag. So that's great if you have that feature. Obviously, in your case, if you got like a double stack 1911, a Glock, or anything like that, it just sticks out, right? There's not this protection here. I mean, that's a cool feature to have because the real one does, but real Glocks don't. Your only thing you're going to be able to do, you're not going to be able to prevent it with the holster you have. So you have to look for a holster that doesn't come up to that area. The best thing you can do is put something on the bottom of your magazine to prevent it from falling out. There was something called like a mag retainer or mag bra or something. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that may have been the name of it. It's if you guys know, like put it in the comment section below. There was like an elastic. It was like elastic strap that went around here and had an extra strap that went across the bottom. So it wrapped around and was like a little saddle. And so when you bumped the button and your mag wouldn't fall out because it acted as like a retention for it. You can pretty much do the same thing if you have like electrical tape or duct tape or something like that. You can kind of tape around and then like run a piece of tape this way and tape it that way. The problem you have there is, of course, you're going to be dealing with, well, now I gotta like rip tape off to change my mags. Or you could maybe rig one, like if you have a little bit of shot cord, maybe put tape on there, put shot cord around here and tape it in place, kind of like they used to do with the homemade mag pulls before real mag pulls came out. You see the guys who do like 550 cord. You could do that with elastic, and that way you can like at least pull the elastic out of the way, pull the mag out and do that, and it would hold it in place when that button gets bumped. But that's all I can really tell you without having to make a mag change or making a holster change or changing the pistol out for something that has a little lower profile button. That's gonna be it. I wish I had a better solution for you, but good luck on the homebrew trick. Will Skywalker 5 Gaming writes, "Is it better for your gas blade pistol to use the slide release or power stroke?" So yeah, actually this PPQ is getting a lot of screen time this show. So for me, doing real shooting with real firearms, I find my kind of manual arms, what I do practice is power stroking. So that's where I kind of go to. Unfortunately, with most gas blowpipe pistols, your slide release spring is a little weak, kind of. The actual return part, it kind of usually, in a lot of cases, depends on gravity or a very, very little thin spring. So getting a power stroke to work with an airsoft gun can be a challenge. And this one's empty, so I can't power stroke. If you guys are wondering what power stroking is, so he's asking between using a slide release, so this one has ambi, so just actually pressing this, and the slide going forward, or power stroking is if you actually have a round in here, it'll take the tension off this, actually taking this back and then letting it go forward. So in this case, there's no round, so it's not gonna go forward. I'll kind of simulate it by holding the slide lock like that. So, you know, dropping the slide. So last shots like this and put it back in. I prefer that method. It's universal. It also helps for me, just the way I like to shoot real guns. But that said, it's really personal preference. If you have a gun like this where it's real easy, I mean, super easy to get to the actual slide release, maybe something worth doing. Some guns is a little harder to reach, a little farther away. Some of them are smaller, like 1911s. So, and I found on some of the 1911s, like I love my Elite Force 1911 A1 TAC, and it's pretty much the same base gun as the Red Wolf, the Nighthawk Custom, sorry. And it's great, but unfortunately the way they're set up, you can't power stroke them. And I really wish you could, but it's just something, it's in design like that. If you maybe modded the spring, it would work. So all around, if you're using just one gun and you can power stroke it, go for it. It's not gonna hurt anything. I mean, this, like, there's nothing you can do to slam this thing back any harder really with your hand than actually shooting it would. So it's really a matter of personal preference. Well guys, that's it for questions this week, which means it's time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one comes from a channel called MHS Productions, and it's Norwegian Special Forces. And I love these videos that come from different units, Special Forces units from around the world. And a buddy of mine actually turned me onto this video. He sent it over as a link. Too freaking cool. I just love this stuff. You know, so much I get out and play milsim, I kind of get that tunnel vision where it's just, okay, just US Special Forces. So just like SEAL teams or CAG or Delta or something like that. And you forget that there are so many great teams fighting for their countries all over the world, and this is no exception. So if you guys want to see something cool, and if you guys are in Norway, you guys already know about this, but if you're from anywhere else, you probably don't. Definitely give it a look. I'll have a link to the video in the description below, and let me know what you guys think about this and other Special Forces units from different countries. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Well guys, that is it for the very last episode shot right here. This is gone. I will be packing up this stuff, the foam and everything, so whenever I get settled in my new location, which is the fantastic part is I don't even know where I'm gonna live next time, and it's so cool that we're just gonna get on the road, we're gonna go. So wherever we land, we'll be setting up a new studio, so fear not, but until then, I'm gonna have a ton of videos on the road, and of course Mondays is gonna keep on keeping on. Plus, again, remember, Fridays are now gameplay, so if you guys are looking for gameplay footage here on Airsoftology, you can tune in every single Friday and pick up something. It might be from a local field, or of course also big milsim ops. We'll have continuing coverage of that. So Copperhead is going on right now. We're gonna have about 4 or 5 episodes on that. I'm still finishing up the last of the series. Then we're gonna move over into Ironclad 2 is the next series we'll be doing right on the heels of that one, and then to follow up Operation Irene, and then Fated Giant, and that should take us all the way into next year. So got a lot of stuff going on with the milsim series, so remember, tune in every single Friday. Reviews are on Wednesday, and of course Mondays is a Monday show here, Q&A. So guys, again, as always, thank you so much for joining me here. Remember, put your questions down below, vote up your favorites, and I'll see you next week. But until then, go out, play some Airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.